rainbows,
It's a bird.
sparkles.
It's a plane. It's a flying teapot. Traveling with Madame Askew and the Grand Arbiter. Flying into your video cassettes today at 6:30
Woo!
p.m. Pacific on this date, November 22nd, 2024.
Woo! Very exciting. Hello, Grand Arbiter.
Hello, Madam Askew. It's a delight to be back here in our blue space. It's a very
Yes.
blue-universe, as it were. We've entered the blue-universe.
We've entered a blue period. We will probably enter another color in the proper winter.
Yes, we're in the azure void, as it were.
Yes, the time betwixt Halloween and the dread arrival of the jingle bells. That's where we find ourselves.
We're in the cyan abyss.
The cyan abyss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cyan Abyss, where we're hosting tea tonight. Hello, TK, TM, Ty. I will pick a name for you. I promise I'll even get it right. Yes, Grand Arbiter. Are you swimming?
We're swimming in the azure void.
I'm like, what's happening? We're swimming through the azure void. Hello, Lady June Squirrel. Hello, Alicia. It's so wonderful to see all of you tonight. Thank you for joining us for tea. This is our final Friday tea of November, so I'm very happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here too. I mean, there was a bomb cyclone in the Cascades. It was bombing. It was not a balmy cyclone. That's a more nice experience.
Bomb
cyclone. A healing, a salve of a cyclone, as it were.
Doesn't that sound nice? And Ty, you just keep me on my toes. You are a being of many names, of many persona, from author to insouciant, project manager to cat wrangler. You do it all. And Lady June Squirrel would like to know how you survived your bomb cyclone, Grand Arbiter.
Well, like every good tea scout, I, of course, hid inside a teapot.
It's the only way. It's the only solution.
The most structurally sound shape teapot.
Yes.
Time has gotten away from us. It's been really tragic that we've burned through so much time so aggressively. Yes. As a reminder, like the posts, engage with the post, ensure that the posts are touched by all the many hands. Many hands make light work, but algorithms require your constant attention. Please like and engage with all of our content, including this live stream. Click that like button. Click it hard.
And since most of you these days are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us there. Please be certain to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and to share it with any of your friends who you think need a little pick-me-up.
At this point, we really will take anyone.
We're ready. We're ready to welcome your enemies.
As you and I have discussed, our secondary title could be, of course, the intellectual elites you didn't know you needed.
Oh, yeah. That may be our whole vibe for 2025. We'll let you know.
We've got a lot coming up still this year. We're really we're nearing the end. It's the final stretch until we go through the dark winter. Hello, it is Friday again. Time doth move forward.
Hello, Ricky.
Yes.
Hello, Ricky. Hello. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It is Friday again. We do this almost every week with a few exceptions. Holidays, time vortices, the arrival of kaiju and also bomb cyclones can really upset the schedule. But outside of illness and holiday, we're normally here. And Roderick, how lovely to see you. Hello. Oh my goodness. So good to have you.
Has become an illusion, but it is important to know that like this still happens every week, that we can possibly make it happen. If we don't make it happen, you'll know. So no news is good news, and news is great news.
And from Australia, it's Saturday. Hello, Sharon. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us from the future. What a delight. It's so, and yeah, I'm glad it's Friday for everyone else as well. Although, Ty, I hope that you are on the mend and feeling better soon.
Yes. Soon. As a reminder, likes and subscribes abound. We expect them. I expect them in a compassionate, kind way. But if you don't like and subscribe, there might be a looming figure outside your home in the dead of night. Who knows? It's possible. The best way to diverge from looming figures is, of course, piping hot cups of tea and liking and subscribing to all of our dings and wings, as it were.
Yes, our dings and wings. So, Grand Arbiter, this is our last tea of November. The next week is a holiday here in the United States.
The great lie, as it were.
Yeah, I'm exiled to the United States. You emerged from an egg like Athena here in the United States.
Born from a universe gone by. Yes.
So,
the real last gasp of a desperate universe.
That's it. That's you. Doctor Who comes to visit.
What's on my head? Oh, it's a beautiful chapeau. That's what it is.
Let me fetch that link, Ty. What a great question that is. That is from one of our favorite places, Fezzarama, and it's called a chapeau, literally.
Yes. This chapeau, I do not believe you can get anymore because it was a special edition dragon black chapeau. I don't think anymore.
Yeah, I don't think those are available anymore, but they do have some other very fine examples. And
it makes me look like a little bit like of a Padawan Jedi Knight, but one that like really has some really solid fashion sense. Like I don't want to have the rat tail all the time, but I'll do it when necessary.
And it does have a lovely little tassel. I love everything by Fezzarama. I have a matching chapeau to go with the Grand Arbiters. I also have a couple of their wonderful little proper fezzes, which I am known to wear occasionally.
I'm already so tall, so I don't feel I need a proper fez. And also, I just think it like sits very cutely on top of my head.
It does fit very cutely on top of your head.
Ty, nothing describes you more than a person that had a Padawan braid in high school. I feel that it's a defining feature that defined your life in a way that has really never stopped.
Although Trekkies for life, right?
I mean, of course. So things that are coming up, because we always must announce all the things.
Yes.
The full list of all the votes for decision for all the nominations and votes for the Golden Tippy Awards will go out sometime in December. So we will see the nominations will go out in December, voting will go out in January, and the final determination will, of course, come out in February with the Lunar New Year.
Yes. And we already have our voting form for Book of the Year. So I just shared that link in the comments. Let's talk a little bit about the Golden Tippy Awards. For those who have not been in the past and are not familiar with our annual award show that happens usually in February around the Lunar New Year. And I say usually because this is the third annual one.
It's the third time. We've done a few adjustments. We used to have it as a New Year's award. The first year it came out, it was a New Year's award, but we liked it so much we wanted to do it again. But doing it around December a second time proved too difficult. So we moved it to February, and then we were like, well, why not leave it there? So now it lives there. That's where it lives now.
That's correct. And oh my goodness. Oh my God. This is a total tangent, but I did not know this. I did not know they coincided. Lady June Squirrel, that is a wild bit of information, and I feel surprisingly mind blown by that coincidence. So to come back to
an illusion.
To come back to the Golden Tippies, to try, it's sometimes hard for us. We love to live on tangents. We live in the world of
reading the comments. Focus on your thing. I will read the comments. Focus on your statements. We will reply.
So the Golden Tippy Awards are our opportunity to honor all of you, to honor our community, to call out people who have been uplifting each other and championing different virtues, passions, and areas of our community that we are deeply passionate about and we think are so important, as well as just to champion and celebrate the artists in our community. So, of course, we have Book of the Year, and the Book of the Year is based on the reading list from the Temporal Textual Talks every year, our yearly virtual book club that we do. And so it constrains the list a little bit, which is very important because there are lots of steampunk books, but not that many new steampunk books every year. So trying to pull from the entire canon of steampunk is too much, and trying to only pull from the new releases in a given year is too small. But picking from our reading list each year is just right. It's like the Goldilocks solution. So, and hopefully everyone has had an opportunity to experience those books, so you have an opinion about which one is your favorite. That said, listen, this is important to me. Please encourage your friends who love steampunk books to also vote and to get involved in our Steampunk Book Club. We are going to be celebrating our 5th anniversary of our Temporal Textual Talks monthly book club in April of this coming year. And I cannot believe it's been 5 years. I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm going to do to sort of like make a big fuss, but
probably buy a hat.
No, that sounds good. I'll buy a hat, or maybe I'll get like a hat and I'll decorate it with books or something. I don't know, but it's coming, and I would love to see more of you there. And also, I am hoping that many of you will vote in the poll, because we'd love for it to be more representative of our community at large. And also, let me tell you, this past year, when we announced our book winner for the year, they were so touched. They were so overwhelmed with joy. It was like the first award they had won for their book, and it meant the world to them. And I love that we as a community got to give that gift of affirmation and validation to an artist. And so I hope you will join us in doing that this coming year as well. So make certain.
Voting is mandatory in Australia. I feel it should be mandatory in the Temporal Entourage as well.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah, mandatory voting with a voting holiday, perhaps.
Sure. You definitely get a holiday from my incessant prattling, for sure. So that is coming up. We will also have nominations for the different awards. They're always different. And then we will have a secret chosen by the Dark Committee Golden Award, which is the Golden Award is given to a member of the Temporal Entourage or its affiliates to honor their lifetime service. So their history with the group, with the organization, yada, yada, yada. This will be our third winner, so we're really excited to give these kinds of awards out. Our last year's winner was, of course, the book. Was it the Bookworm this year, or was it the year before last?
No, it was this year, the 2020. Yeah,
was Bill Bodden with the Bookworm Award, spelled WYRM, the Golden Bookworm. I'm excited to see what weird name I come up with for the award this year, whatever it might be.
Same, Grand Arbiter. So this is our fantastic opportunity to honor our community, to celebrate together as a community.
Or to celebrate yourselves. There will be opportunities to nominate yourself. If you believe you've done great costuming work or great advocacy or whatever the awards tend to be, nominating yourself is not just allowed, it's encouraged. You should talk about what you like and what you celebrate about yourself.
As my grandmama said, do not hide your light under a bushel. Please nominate yourself if you feel that you fit a category and that it applies to you. And know that we are encouraging you to do that. Yeah.
So those are the things that are coming up for the end of the year. So that's coming up quick. So keep that in mind.
We may be doing, the Grand Arbiter and I have not figured out what it looks like, but we may be doing something virtual and fun for New Year's Eve or Hogmanay, as we normally do. And I'm excited. I love celebrating the turning of the year with all of you. I look forward to it. And so
something new and wacky. Who knows?
Who knows?
I've known to have crazy ideas. So we have lots of fun stuff. As a reminder, our content is really generated by you, the fans, but also by our Patreon, which is just Fans Plus, but also by your engagement. One of the things that we've really struggled with in the last year or so is the changing of the guard of social medias. We are actually seeing a real... You are highly illuminated, madam.
I apologize. I am. It's because I popped out of the window to
go back to the darkness. Go back to the darkness.
I'm returning.
I feel a little less distressed. We have been struggling with the changing of algorithms, with how internet has the internet is being filled with a lot of things that can barely pass the Turing exam machines, and just living calculators of nightmares. So it's really important that you support your live artists, not just us, but all live artists who work on stuff here on the internet, because the internet is drowning, and it really needs you need to be able to advocate for it in and out, but also sharing in person is a really powerful tool. I know lots of people in our little group watch this as a group. So while I know there's only a set number of eyes, I know there's more eyes watching. So please let us know what you want out of this experience, but also just let people know about us. It's really valuable to us, and we do a lot of uplifting. I know that we've been big advocates for uplifting other artists and uplifting the communities that we're a part of. But I'm going to be pretty raw and exposed here, like a live wire, like a Tesla ball, totally illuminated with lightning. We've been struggling to keep ourselves out of being drowned by the algorithm. So being able to engage with us in a more direct manner through the Patreon and the Discord becomes increasingly valuable, and ensuring that you're telling people about the kinds of weird, fun things that you see in your life. I know that sharing that kind of thing can sometimes be awkward, like, hey, I watch these two weirdos talk on the internet sometimes, and it's a great time. But if you do enjoy us, please share us. Word of mouth is still pretty strong.
It is.
I'm done with the rant. Father is done talking.
Thank you, Grand Arbiter. No, the Grand Arbiter is correct. about all of that, and more frank than I am about things, more open, more forward. Thank you, my darling. I'm sharing the link to our Discord in the comments. I know many of you have joined us there already, but I hope you will consider joining us there if you have not. Yeah, I don't want to make it too sad in the conversation today, but the truth is that we get about a third of the viewers we got even a year ago, and so it would be lovely to spread the joy. We miss people who don't know if we're still here or not, or don't know if we're here at all, and we're always happy to see you when you come back, and we're delighted whenever you can pop in.
Or just leave a comment if you see it after. Just telling us you enjoy stuff. We want to know that you're having a good time, and sometimes we just don't know.
That's true. And we miss you. We miss you.
We miss you. So with this, we're going to change direction completely.
Okay, Grand Arbiter. Sounds delightful.
I needed to get this off the heavy burden of the emotional load. The albatross was squawking, and she was quite noisy.
I see. Right.
So today's Patreon topic, with most of the votes this time around, is a new bit we're going to be trying, a new segment. I believe we called it Madam Explains It All.
No, Madam Explains Badly.
Oh, yes. Madam Explains Badly.
Oh, explains things poorly. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things poorly. So Madam is going to tell us about something that I have only fleeting knowledge of. So I am not an expert in this field or in this space. I have never engaged with this piece of media beyond passing fancy and background radiation exposure. Madam Askew is going to thank you for saying that, Eric. It's very hard for us to know if anyone is watching after the fact. So even if you just comment later saying, I had a great time, that can be really valuable. And particularly liking the post can really push, and liking and sharing the post can always really elevate our numbers. So thank you for your engagement. We get no commission or payment from more viewers. It doesn't really improve our way of life. Let me put it that way. It just is nice to be shared. That's really what it boils down to.
And I know that Eric knows, because Eric has a wonderful channel on YouTube where he is doing all of these fantastic recipes, these wonderful cooking videos. Eric, I cannot remember the name of your channel right now,
but feel free to share it in the comments.
Yes, this is my, please share. It's fantastic. Eric does gorgeous food videos. Actually, they're lovely. So yeah.
So Madam is going to explain poorly
Dragon Age Veilguard.
Are we going to cover all of Dragon Age? Are we going to cover just Veilguard? Are we just going to cover some basics for Dragon Age? Because I have no exposure to any of this Dragon Age stuff.
So you have to explain a little bit everything in order to explain the one thing. Because the thing is, it's a 4-part series of games thus far, with some media in between.
This is a video game played on a calculating machine.
On some sort of difference engine, whether one is using a keyboard or a controller. Situation varies by preference. I'm a keyboard user personally. I'm not very good with a controller. And also right now, I'm right-handed and my right hand is sprained. So I do everything left-handed on the keyboard, which is
How has that been building your ambidextrous skill set?
To be honest, Grand Arbiter, I don't think I'll ever be truly ambidextrous. But I play piano, so I already had some independence of motion. So I'm pulling on my piano playing skills in order to be able to do this. So yeah, those were skills I'd already honed over years of playing runs and scales and nonsense on the keyboard. So
I
very
didn't know you
fortunate.
could play a dragon.
Well, you know, dragons
Because
love to
that's
be
what I've
played.
heard you do with dragons is you run and they have scales.
Yes, you run your fingers over their scales and you tickle them, and that gets them to submit to your will. But you have to get really close to them. It's part of the secret of
Is this
Dragon
part of the
Age.
game? Is this part of
No,
the Dragon Age
no,
game?
it's not.
Okay.
It's an inside track, as if you can get close enough to tickle them on the scales, you may survive the fight.
Oh,
So, Dragon Age is basically it's set in a sort of pseudo Renaissance, medieval, old timey wimey fantasy
general
period.
fantasy medieval world.
Right? It's that, we put a sheen on it, could wear to a Renaissance fair, could maybe wear to an SCA event, the Society for Creative Anachronisms, maybe not, but like it's definitely old timey wimey, and there's a lot of armor and people with swords.
I like that the focus right now is on that there's swords and armor. I have not heard anything about dragons yet.
Okay, so listen. So there's this thing, right, where you're in this old timey place, and there are dragons, but they're not typical dragons. They're possessed. They're possessed by demons.
Wait, the dragons are possessed by demons? Okay.
Yes.
So first things first. Is the place have a name?
Thedas.
Thedas. Okay.
Thedas.
And the dragons, are they like talky dragons? Are they like
they're not chatty.
Are they friendly? Are they nice?
No.
Can you make them into your pets? Can I catch them in a small capsule device to make them my friend?
It's not Pokemon. No.
Oh, okay.
No. So, they're very large. They're very angry. They have never done therapy. They have not unpacked their feelings. Okay. They're just full of rage, and they're typically possessed by demons.
Why are they possessed by demons?
Well, this is a world in which demons exist in this magical realm that's separated from the world by a thing called the Veil. And the demons live in a place called the Fade, where there's all magic and nonsense. And the demons are not Judeo-Christian demons. We're using the term demon because that's like the common parlance of the land of Thedas.
Spirit.
They're like malicious spirits that want to take over living beings and have them do terrible things. And they're usually propelled by sort of very base emotions like lust or greed or vengeance or something like that.
Republicans.
Yes, that's it. And so
far we have dragons that are wild and crazy and don't have any brains. They're just violent.
I mean, they're very smart predators.
Okay, but they're not none of them are writing poetry about how they love sunflowers.
No, they're not. They definitely don't write poetry. They definitely set the sunflowers on fire. Okay, so
there's a magical place called the Fade.
Yes.
Which makes it sound like it's like an African American style haircut location.
Yeah, but it's not
a different kind of haircut.
No, it's just
not an undercut. It's not a fade to black.
No. It's just like a hazy place where there's a lot of sort of soft focus, and it's like living in it's like the dreamscape in between reality, but it's a parallel dimension, and magicians, sorcerers, magic users sort of can go there to draw magic, but it's like dangerous. It could be bad for you. You could
Because
get
it's full of
stuck there.
evil Republicans.
Yes, that's right.
So the evil Republican spirits possess dragons.
Yes. And so initially you are saving like this one part of Thadis that's getting attacked by this thing called the Blight. And the Blight is a sort of evil plague that comes and rolls through the land and infects other people with its evil. And the only way to get rid of it is to like basically set it on fire, burn it out. And so people join this
dragons to burn.
The dragons spread the blight. They're like part of it. They're possessed by these evil demons. They're possessed by archdemons.
So that is bad legislation. They bad legislation. It's not fire. It's bad legislation.
Yes. All right, good. So, and thank you, Broderick. Also, excellent understanding. So, in our first game, our pinnacle character joins this organization called the Grey Wardens, who are committed for their lifetimes to fighting the Blight and fighting the demons and killing the archdemon, i.e., the dragon, in the piece. And so once that happens, then there's a little sacrifice, a willing human sacrifice happens to kill the dragon. And in the first one, there's also some shenanigans with the Witch of the Wild, who's one of your team.
Cool.
Yeah, she's great. The Witch of the Wild is delightful.
Is she a lesbian?
She's pansexual. She likes everyone. So one of the other features of this game and of the game series is that you do not play as a single character. You play as a team of characters. So you
and your little buddies.
You have you and your little buddies, and so you are leveling up and honing your own personal character, but you're also developing your relationships with your team. And when it was first developed, this was fairly revolutionary gameplay, and making choices and having conversation with your team really is fundamental to winning the game, because you have to build up better relationships to make them like you more, to make them more invested, to get the buy-in, to make a stronger team. You also have to help them work through emotional turmoil and trauma and all sorts of experience, and sometimes to go on quests to resolve things that, you know, are problematic. And listen, Morrigan for life, Eric. She's the best.
Let me try to recap. The way you get stronger in this game is by love bombing your friends.
Yes.
Sort of emotionally manipulating them and also being their therapist. This seems deeply unethical.
Well, listen, no one promises to be an actual therapist. No credentials are ever discussed. And also, like,
what is friendship but emotional manipulation on a large scale?
I'd like to think that I play in a genuine fashion where I truly care about my team members and want them to all be their best selves before we have to go and kill a dragon possessed by an archdemon. Because really, if you're thinking about your childhood trauma, it's very hard to take on that archdemon possessed dragon.
So, just to recap.
Yeah.
Just to go back over what we've discussed so far.
To sum up.
In this game, you are with a bunch of emotionally damaged people.
Yes.
And I'm assuming you're the emotional damaged person driving the car.
Yes.
And you know what their best selves should be.
You're like, no, I don't know. I suspect, and I help them discover.
Okay. Okay. Is it discovery or is it like emotionally moving them down a path that you've chosen for this?
I mean, I think initially in the early games, it was more shepherding them down a pathway and encouraging them to go in a certain direction. But by game 3, Inquisition, you're just their comrades in arms, helping them discover their own pathway. The games become more, they become more complicated and more nuanced as they develop.
They're already insanely complicated. So, okay, so you fought a lot of dragons. I'm assuming that you fought a bunch of dragons and stuff. And I remember you mentioned that the thing that protects the real world from the magical world, that's also where you have dreams, which you can physically travel to, and also is filled with evil Republicans.
Yes,
I know that's a it states itself, but regardless. And this game is called Veil Guard, and you are assuming you are guarding a veil.
Yeah, this is correct though. Also, it's also about kissing. There's a lot of kissing in this game.
Okay. When do you fit the kissing in between the emotional, like healing, and the dragon fighting, and the dreams are corrupted by evil spirits having?
Yeah. So as you're developing your rapport with your teammates, you can choose options to flirt with them as well.
Not only are we're not only emotionally manipulating them, we're not only therapizing them, we're also moving romantically with these people?
Yeah, potentially.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, yes. Continue. So, and in Veilguard, this is so good. This is so good, Lady June Squirrel. In Veilguard, everyone is kissable. You can kiss everyone on your team potentially.
You can't kiss everybody in the other games?
No, in the other games you could only so the first game was pretty heteronormative, and then by the third game they were like, queerness is real, and we were all like, yes, it is. Good job, dragging Veil.
Arizona too. Is it about protecting Veil, the city in Colorado, or Veil, the city in Arizona?
No. It's not. Those places are on their own, honestly. Yes, Harding is a wonderful character, Eric. She's a little cinnamon roll. She's so good. She's our dwarf scout from Inquisition, and was just a really lovely, that was the third game. And now in the fourth game, she's a member of your team, and everyone is pansexual in the fourth game, which means everybody's queer. And
everyone learned something new today. I like that by the fourth game, everyone has learned something about themselves.
It's so lovely. And it is a fantasy dragon dating simulator with fighting.
Dragons?
No, you can't.
Okay.
You can't. You can only. Okay. You can only kill. Well, unless you consider the Kunari to be dragons, but that's like a more metaphysical question. Okay. So, yeah. So yeah. No one kisses the dragons. They are the villain of the story, unfortunately.
Dragon kissing. Okay, so
yeah,
who is on our team for Veilguard?
So for Veilguard, we have Nev, who's our fantastic mage. She's mostly an ice mage, but she's also a private investigator. She's sassy. She's snappy. She's witty.
She's a private investigator and she's a mage?
Yeah.
Does she wear like a trilby or something?
No, better. She wears a really cute fascinator with a veil.
But not the same veil. Is that what the veil we're guarding?
No, it's a different veil. It's definitely a different veil. Okay. The veil we're guarding is the veil, metaphorical, veil that exists
metaphorical
between the real physical world and the Fade. And our kind of complicated anti-hero of the piece, Solus, created the veil to put some tyrannical elven gods in prison. But when he did that, he kind of messed things up, especially for the dwarves. And so he wants to tear the veil down. And our team is like, that's a very bad idea, because then you unleash a bunch of demons on everybody. And as we discussed, the demons are bad. So we don't want to do that. So we're guarding the veil to make certain it doesn't get torn down.
You also built it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy who built it, you're defending it from him.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And
why
also,
are you so confident about our decision to defend this thing if the guy who made it is like into breaking it?
Yeah, but he's a problem. He's like a bisexual disaster.
Oh.
Listen, Solus isn't a bad egg. He's traumatized. He hasn't had enough therapy. He needs some inner work. He needs some love. He needs compassion.
Is he a character from the previous game?
He is. He's a character in Inquisition.
Is he
and
like
in Inquisition, you can romance him. He's part of the team at Inquisition.
So you're telling me that the romance that you did in 3 in Inquisition was not sufficient to solve his emotional trauma?
Oh, no. See, here's the thing. You get to decide each game how things will go, and the next game builds on your decisions from the previous game. So you can choose to import your saved story and your character progress and the way in which you affected the world into your next game. And so
he's not a bad guy in that one, right? He's not interested in breaking the veil down. He listens to you when you say that's a bad idea and like respects you as a person. Right?
So listen, here's the problem with Solus. You can only romance him if you're an elf. He only dates elves.
Oh, so he's got a Grindr profile that says no fats, no humans.
Right. No, he's very particular because he sees the plight of the elven people. He feels culpable. He used to be one of their gods. He kind of like became...
Why is he a god? What do you mean he's a god?
Used to be a god.
He's really used to be a god. Like it's like a vocation that's like, yeah, for one summer I was like a god. It was like a really weird time in my life, but it really gave me a lot of experience and it really set me up for success.
Listen, the thing is, we learn a lot about the elves and their world building and how all of this came to pass in Veilguard. I don't want to give too much away, but Solus made some choices, and they were choices directed by good intentions, but we all know that sometimes good intentions lead you down a garden path, and he's a trickster god like Loki, which means he's more of an anti-hero than a proper hero, but he is convincible to do the right thing if you can form that emotional attachment with him, but it's very hard to do.
Yes, please don't do a genocide, my love. I would love it if you did not destroy a whole kingdom and world by letting demons just run party fouls across the countryside.
But here's the thing. We find, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but we find out that the Veil did something bad to another group of people on the planet of Thetis, and they have been suffering for centuries because of this, and he feels bad about how this came to pass, and like he's also potentially responsible for unleashing the blight on the world, and so he wants to, you know,
you know what, I don't really need to talk more about your messy ex. Let's talk about Let's talk about somebody else. Who else is in your party? There was some cute dwarf lady. We talked about her.
Yes,
What's
Harding. Harding is so wonderful. So Harding is our little dwarf cinnamon roll. She's red haired. She's freckled. She's very sweet.
I like that these are the important factors to who she is as a person. She has red hair. She has freckles. I wonder why someone likes her. I'm just
very important. It's very important. It's representation for gingers. No, she's a fantastic scout. She's an incredible shot, and she's also just.
Did she shoot a gun?
No, with a bow and arrow.
You just said shot. I mean, she could have like, I don't know. Does she have like a? She could have like one of those like a stone in a sling.
Slingshot. She could, but she doesn't. She has
a violent jock strap. That's a thing, like a violent jock strap, right? They look like little jock straps, and then you put a rock in them, and then you throw them.
That's true, but in this case, she uses a bow and arrow, and her know-how with people. She's very good at making connections with people, and also scouting the way forward and leading everyone, her team, to the right place at the right time. So, and Harding is adorable. She's adorable. So you get Harding and Nev very early on in the game. They're your first two companions. You also get Balara, who's an elf, who is this new faction called.
What is she? A human lady?
Who?
The private.
Oh, Nev is human.
Okay.
Harding is a dwarf. Nev is human. Balara is
magic. So humans can have magic.
Humans can have magic. And yes, Harding is like Gimli, sober, but with sarcasm. Also, she likes plants so much. We've got a lot of Harding fans in the comments.
Harding, I mean, it's your channel. So yeah. I suspect they have a type, is what I'm learning.
Thank you. Me and Harding probably are roughly the same height.
Now you're just envisioning a Harding cosplay. I can see it coming together in your mind.
Okay, listen. Maybe yes, okay. I am. But that's all right, because you would cosplay Goth Daddy Necromancer. Our favorite necromancer, Emmerich, who's also
necromancy like a bad magic for bad people?
Only if you're a bad person doing necromancy. He does ethical necromancy, all right?
Define ethical necromancy. Define.
Yes. Well, first of all, he doesn't take advantage of the spirits. He doesn't force them into possession of objects, and he talks to them and helps them resolve things, and he also guides his own special spirit, who was never a human being, who was just like a spirit of curiosity. He guides that spirit into his wonderful little skeleton construct, Manfred, and Manfred is just a very sweet little cinnamon roll who happens to be a skeleton who's very kind.
The cutest skeleton you've ever met.
Honestly, he is like the cutest skeleton you've ever met.
Cannot be this cutest skeleton you've ever met because you've never seen Tiny Bones.
Oh, that's true. I haven't. Well, he's the cutest skeleton I've ever met.
That's fair.
All right. So we've got Goth Daddy Necromancer Emmerich, who is clearly who you would either cosplay or date, and then and his wonderful yes, he is very Grand Arbiter-ish. He absolutely is. As soon as I met Emmerich, I was like, oh no, I could make an Emmerich cosplay for the Grand Arbiter and it would be perfect. He's just older, so he's a Goth Daddy Necromancer. He's ethical. He's very good.
Or is he Daddy? Because those are different things.
I think he's Daddy. I don't think he's Zaddy. I don't know.
Is he? I don't know. Is he soft and squishy emotionally?
No. Okay, well, maybe a little bit.
Well, We'll have to review the tape.
Yeah,
Moving
okay.
forward.
So then there's Lucanus, who is a sort of Italian, lives in the pseudo Venice.
So it's a pseudo Italian. He's not actually Italian.
No,
He's not a Mario player.
well, also it's in a fantasy land, so there's like pseudo France and pseudo Italy and pseudo like.
Is it a specific part of pseudo Italy? Is he from
Yes.
pseudo Milan?
Venice, very specifically.
Pseudo Venice. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, he is very dashing and also possessed by a demon, but they're working it out. And he likes to kill bad mages, which is great. He's an assassin. He's obsessed with coffee. And he smolders and he broods a lot, but he's really good at murdering bad people. So,
and is he someone that you were into because he's slightly mean to you?
Listen, I didn't know we were going to be this emotionally honest tonight. But I do respect him, and he's not mean. He's just withholding because he's tormented and he's working it through.
So you like him more.
Yeah, but if you and your character don't romance him, he ends up in a romance with Nev, and they're pretty good together. So that.
I guess that
works out.
I mean, I could see an assassin in like a cowboy hat dating the lady, I'm assuming, who's also wearing a veiled trilby.
Yeah. Well, they're both very dashing, and they wear great clothes, and they're very passionate. And yeah, he's murdering bad people and cooking great food for his friends. He's like a very sexy version of Delicious in Dungeon. All right.
Are you telling me that that little blonde autistic boy is not sexy? Because you can just take that back, I think.
All right, he's
every member of the Delicious in Dungeon party is a hottie with a thoughty body. Do not.
Okay, I'm so sorry. All right, but he's like that. He could hang out with them. So then we have I mentioned Balara, who's our elf, who is sort of like quirky and whimsical and a little bit ADHD, very good with old elf science and magic, and she jumps back and forth over the veil and the real world to learn more about the elves in the past. She's very sweet. She's like everyone's kid sister. She's a delight. And then finally, we have two more. We have Davrin, who's our Grey Warden. He's also an elf.
What's a Grey Warden?
We mentioned them before. They're the guys who are committed unto death.
Are they the Inquisition?
No. The Inquisition is another. We skipped right over the Inquisition because they're like a sort of based on a weird religion, but oh my goodness. Yeah, no, he is sweet, but he is no Alucard. I believe we're talking about Lucanus still, because that's fair. That's a fair description. But
there's a lot of names, but that's okay. I'm here for
listen,
it.
I didn't, so the Grey Wardens are the ones who fight against the Blight, which is the plague that comes from the Fade that spreads across and brings demons. Right. And so when you
spread the Blight, but the Blight is not demons.
Right. Yes. Okay. The demons and the Blight are attached. So Davrin, and when you join the Grey Wardens, you're committed to it for life. You will die because of it. It's sort of long and involved. But Davrin is a Grey Warden, and he's actually, he tries to be tough. He tries to be hard and fierce, but it turns out he's got a really soft, creamy center. And he accidentally ends up having to adopt a griffin and take care of the griffin, and the griffin is very sweet. And he does wood carving when he's hanging out and not fighting. He's just really sweet and charming and also very hot. They're all hot. All of them are hot.
Okay.
There's a problem.
The important part of this is that they're sexy wizards and knights and assassins. And things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our last companion is part of the Kunari. And they are
Kunari.
So the Kunari are this complicated horned race of people. They have really big horns, and most of them used to. No, they're not. They're not demons. They just have horns, and some of them think they're descended from dragons. So, yeah, and so they come from across the sea, and originally they're going to invade Thetis, but then they well, because they want to bring the Kun, their religion, to Thetis, and because they think that everybody will be better if they're under the Kun, and the Kun is
the Kun?
The
like
Kun.
A raccoon? I just am imagining a giant space raccoon.
Yeah, no, listen, it's Qun, Kun, and listen, Tosh is our Kunari, and they go on their wonderful journey of discovering their gender identity during the game, and they come out as non-binary, and it's a whole journey that you go on with them. It's very sweet, and they breathe fire. Listen.
Is that because they're non-binary? Can non-binary people breathe fire?
No, just any. Well, not any Kunari can breathe fire. The non-binariness and the fire breathing are not related. It just happens to be that Tosh
is in real life too. Is the non-binariness and breathing fire not related in real life too?
We're going to have to ask some of our non-binary babes.
I was not sure if I knew about whether or not if you start to identify as non-binary, did you get fire breathing powers?
I mean, I feel like you should be able to, but also I feel like Eric is.
Did they breathe fire before they identified as non-binary?
Yes, they did. They've been breathing fire since they were small childs. They were like born with the ability.
That sounds like a really hard time to keep close for a small child that breathes fire.
I mean, their mother really struggled raising them, I think, is what that comes down to. But I love what Eric says here. Yeah, the challenge is that you can't have any polyamorous relationships because there's so many great characters. It's hard to choose. The hardest choices I made in Dragon Age Veilguard was who to romance, ultimately. It was really difficult.
Well,
and Eric,
choices.
I'm sorry, what?
You hate making choices. Decisions? Yeah. Fuck them.
No. Why choose? That's definitely my motto. Why choose? But in this case, I chose Tosh during my first playthrough. So
okay. And you're starting your second one now?
I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So with all of this, we're nearing the end of our show.
Yes, we are.
I hope that everyone found it enlightening. I certainly have learned almost nothing. I have learned that Madame Askew has a dwarven doppelganger that everyone thinks is darling.
Yes.
And that Solus is everyone's worst ex.
It's so difficult. You definitely want better for him.
And also that demons are driven by only the basest of instincts, like bad people.
Yes.
Like extreme right ring ideologics. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a Hallmark movie.
Like a Hallmark movie. It
with more dragons.
It sounds like the Christmas Prince fights a dragon. Okay.
With friends.
What is your, with this game and this game series, we know that you like it.
I do. I love this series.
No, I know.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I'm so sorry. Please continue.
You've talked a lot. What do you think people should take away from those games that you really think is what makes them special, and why people should play them?
So I do think one of the most delightful aspects of this game is that it focuses on community and team over individual achievement. And so you can't ever win the game as a solo person. You have to play the game with your team and you have to take care of your team. And I think those are really good values to have in the world. Yeah. And also tenacity is super important.
And what is your favorite non making them kiss component of the game that you enjoy?
Oh, I really like side questing and learning more about the world building because honestly, there's been a lot over the course of the 4 games.
Well, how
There's,
many years are between the third game and the fourth game?
well, I understand it's like a decade.
What?
I think it's been,
1-0?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
my goodness.
Yeah. So, and I don't remember when the first Dragon Age game came out.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely true, Joseph Johnson.
Thank you, Joseph.
She is looking quite beautiful tonight. Although there's not a night in the day, there's not a night of the year that Madam doesn't look stunning as F. So the lesson is, if you want to get on Madam Askew's good side and talk to her for even, I mean, we have barely scratched the surface, scratched the scale of this Dragon Age. We have not even pierced the dragon flesh. And Madam Askew, I imagine, will continue to prattle on for as long as you wish to talk to her about this experience. So please feel free to bring the conversation to the Discord, where you can find love to connect and connect with your favorite romanceable characters.
Yes. Well, and we can compare notes. So I will say that I always start my experience with Dragon Age playing a human rogue. That's like the one, that's where I like to start my game. I love playing rogues. And then I move into doing a magic wielder. Also, thank you, Scott Mistress. Apparently I need to wear a fez and a tassel more often. Thank you, my darling. And Alicia, I love to replay them. I don't replay them every year, but I have replayed all 3 games multiple times, and I usually replay them in order so that I can like get the whole story. And leading up to playing Veilguard, I replayed as much of all 3 as I could.
You have a Twitch channel now, so if you would like to, if something you're interested in is streaming Madam Askew playing Dragon Age, please let us know in the Discord or via the Patreon. If that's something that you think would be a fun thing to watch, I imagine Madam Askew could find it in her day to sit at her computer and play Dragon Age for your amusement.
That's true. If you, in all honesty, if that would be fun for everyone, I would do that in December, play some Dragon Age on the Twitch. So I love this game. If you like playing role-playing games, video games, I recommend it. If you've never played this sort of game, I'm not certain I would start here because there's some sort of like building up your game playing skills that you may need before you get to Veilguard. I'm very grateful to be a quick typist with my left hand and to have some facility there. So there's like the gaming mechanics and everything are a little bit tricky, but I love the story building. I love the worlds, and I loved the Dragon Age fandom. It's fantastic. Everyone I know who's a fan clearly is delightful. A bunch of us are in the comments tonight, so that's wonderful. So, my darlings, thank you for letting me prattle on. Grand Arbiter, thank you for asking such insightful, thoughtful questions as usual. You are so good at that.
Don't forget to like and subscribe on all platforms. Madam Askew and the Grand Arbiter, the the intellectual elitists that you didn't know you needed.
So we will be back after Thanksgiving in December with more streaming goodness. I have a sip of the tea scheduled. We will have Friday teas, and we will do something for New Year's to be announced. So watch out for all of that. In the meantime, my darlings, as you go out into the world tonight, please remember, or today, if you're in Australia, it's daytime. But please remember to treasure yourselves as we treasure you. To get those boosters and vaccines, wash your hands.
She is streaming while the vaccine is running through her veins at full power.
Yes.
She got it mere days ago.
It's pretty nasty looking, but
showing. What? When did this show become like a softcore porn channel? My goodness.
It's just a little shoulder, Grand Arbiter.
Softcore porn, showing shoulders. Next, you're gonna have ankles.
No, I love to show my ankles.
Okay.
Out of control. So
next time, you're darling and perfect and are beyond reproach. Goodbye for now. See you soon. End stream. End stream.
Good night.
End stream.